Alright, so Arch-Tempered Rey Dau is finally here, and it's okay, I guess. It's not like the moveset changes too drastically compared to its regular counterpart. However, what does change is the amount of rewards you get at the end of this expedition. This might just be one of the best sources of armor spheres, of some other stuff in there that we're gonna check out. So lots more to discuss in this video, and let's get started. With the fact that, like it was implied from the presentation videos from before, it's not like Rey Dau Arch-Tempered gets much in terms of new movesets, if any at all from what I'm seeing. The only thing that changes, besides maybe extra HP and being more aggressive, is that every single attack now has an aftershock, or basically these lightning explosions that happen at the point of impact. So whenever you see him doing any move or any attack, just don't linger in the area, because there's going to be an aftershock around the second after that follows up. And if it happens to be in a very tight spot, you may be hit by multiple damage explosions, which will absolutely wreck you. But as far as I can tell, you can fully disable that by just destroying the Fulgurite on its wings and its tail. We were able to do that both in the single player and in multiplayer sessions, and upon doing so, Rey Dau Arch-Tempered just turns to its regular version, so it's even easier to take from that point on. The only thing you have to pay attention to is maybe some of its attacks. Besides that, it's also highly susceptible to just flash pods, so whenever you see him going up into the air, that's the best moment to do so, because you immediately get him in the stun phase. Don't let him stay in the air too much, because he's going to do the double wingspan rail cannon, which can absolutely wreck you just like its base version, but this one deals even more damage, and the damage explosions are also larger than you may think, so staying clear of them may be very important over here. Besides that, the only thing that changes is that it performs its attacks a lot quicker than its default form, but again, stun phases are the same, breaking parts is the same, all of its movesets are the same. The only thing that changes is the shock or aftershock damage for that. In terms of the rewards, however, this is going to be a big one, and as you can see right here, we got quite a couple of them. So let me show you what we actually get as possible rewards from Rey Dau and how to make the most out of it. The first one being, of course, Rey Dau Certificate Gamma, which is the only new sort of material we need to craft the Rey Dau Gamma set. Every other component over there is from the regular Rey Dau, so likely you have 3/4 of the mats already handled. The only thing you need is 5 more Rey Dau Certificates Gamma. And guess what? You can get multiple of these if you have the lucky meal. As you can see right here, I got 2 of them. One provided by finishing the expedition as a normal reward, and another one provided by the daily lucky vouchers. So if you're trying to farm this as fast as possible, go ahead, activate those before every single Rey Dau expedition so that you can get the Gamma certificate. Besides this, it has a chance to both drop the hard armor and heavy armor spheres. As you can see right here, on a number of occasions, I actually got between 4 to 8 of them in total, which I think is really good. I think that the average is at least like 5 of them. So you will have at least one of these per turn, especially if you use some of those lucky daily vouchers. I think that's going to be a very good way to immediately boost up the armor. So you're going to level these up so easily because of the expedition. It might even make this one of the best expeditions for, yeah, just armor spheres in general. Besides that, you also get both the ancient orbs and the ancient weapon fragments from the Arch-Tempered Rey Dau encounter. So think of this as both a tempered monster and a regular apex. You get both of those at the end of the expedition, but the actual amount may differ, so you may get more or less depending on the expedition. It's not just the new Rey Gamma set that uses the certificates. We also have 2 new talismans. So checking out the talismans page, I noticed that there are 2 new upgrades that I hadn't had before. So one includes the Defense Charm 5, which uses 3 Rey Dau Certificates Gamma, and this is now going to give you a level 5 in defense boost. And the second one is the Power Charm, which obviously goes with the latent power even more, and now this gets upgraded to level 3 instead, also requiring those 3 Rey Dau Certificates Gamma, which is actually quite big. It seems that every update and probably every Arch-Tempered enemy that we're gonna get from now on will also bring in some of these extra charm levels. So I'm pretty sure that eventually we should reach the maximum level for every single charm in the game. or at least a good chunk of them. But power charm over here may be quite important. Now we may mix and match this with only maybe a 2 set or a 3 set Rey Gamma set, and then go with the 2 set piece from the Gormagala and maybe come up with something interesting but still have 5 levels of latent power. So if you want to fully maximize the drops from every single encounter, go ahead and do the following. Besides using those daily vouchers, which are your best bet in this case for the Gamma certificates, also use any lucky meal. In this case, Kunafa meal can help a ton. This is going to further increase the number of reward items that you receive at the end of the quest. This will only apply to the targeted rewards, by the way, but still useful in case you're missing any of them. Also, of course, trying to cut the tail so that you get the bolt gem. As you can see, I got it right here. I was lucky enough. I was kind of missing on a lot of these, so I got one just in time to craft the full set over there. And maybe one more thing I recommend is to just buff yourself. So now that we have the Diva happening this often during the festival, go ahead and take it. That's going to give you some extra resistances, defense, and boost your stats in general. And of course, also those daily meals. Besides this, obviously, capturing the boss also works, not with shock traps, but with the pitfall traps, and still using those 2 smoke bombs over there to put it to sleep. That's going to be more than enough to capture it, and it will significantly cut off your expedition time because of that, since you can do it at around 30% HP. No weapons, as it was obviously already the case. Arch-tempered enemies, I don't think will ever get their own separate weapons, just the Gamma sets, and that is pretty much it. In terms of the armor itself, as you can see right here, it's only going to use the Rey Dau certificate Gamma, and everything else is exactly everything you get from regular Rey Dau. So at maximum, you're going to probably need like 5 runs against this to get it. I'm not sure if you need more than that unless you're super unlucky, but if you use the lucky meal vouchers and daily vouchers, you should have everything in just 5 runs. Now, in terms of the armor, like I said before, I'm not too keen on recallers. I would have hoped that an arch-tempered enemy, which is supposed to be the strongest version of monsters right now in the game, I was expecting maybe a bit more than that. Maybe a unique design, some cool new aesthetic over there going on. Maybe even, I don't know, some effects at the very least. Right now, it's just a disappointing color change that I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna probably use at all. However, the items themselves can be extremely useful, and I've said this in previous videos, especially the helmet over there has some advantages, gives weakness exploit, max might, and stamina surge all in one. But all pieces, like I said, had some good combos. Like you have 3 levels of latent power on the chest piece alone, then you have 3 levels of evade extender on the arms, and then the waist has 2 into maximum might and another 2 into latent power, which is quite significant. So in this case, you can definitely go with a 4 out of 4 piece of this and make some combinations with other sets. You can even maybe go 3 piece and 2 Gormagala and go with something interesting, but still keep 5 levels of latent power. And as I said before, latent power may be quite useful for your typical player who doesn't play optimally but still gets hit in boss runs, so it can take advantage of the 50% affinity and 50% less stamina depletion. So yeah, that's at least my hopes for the future. I hope that future arch-tempered / Gamma sets will be a little bit more different than their regular counterparts. And I also hope that future arch-tempered enemies will get extra attacks as well. I'm pretty sure that previous Monster Hunter games had these arch-tempered enemies with extra move sets, not just a few extra effects in there. So hopefully that's going to be the case once we get to arch-tempered, I don't know, Uthduna or even Argveld, as we do know those are eventually going to follow. But that is pretty much it with today's video. Let me know down below what's your opinion of the arch-tempered Rey Dau encounter, and if you already got the set, and if so, is there any particular build that you're going with? This is pretty much it with the video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.